the ban phase, who are going to be knocking out from the pool early on. As our operators, it's going to be Soniqs banning out first for the defense, so they get to take something away from their opponents, and then they'll get to take something from themselves. It's going to be Thermite getting knocked out first. Our second ban coming up in just a second.
All right, and second ban is going to be taking a little bit of time to think about it here, as Thermite is going to be pulled away from them on Consulate, which not really a traditional thing. They're going to be able to take away Nomad here, which, again, pretty smart thing. She's used very efficiently on this map. There's a lot of places you can put the air jabs outside to try and prevent any of those hop outs that are so very dangerous on this map specifically. It's kind of like Skyscraper in that sense, where you can just almost fling yourself from any window, try and do some damage to the offense. But Valkyrie, another routinely banned operator here. There's so many spots for those black eye cameras, especially outside in the trees, as we are going to be wrapping things up here with Soniqs ban, which is going to be none other than Echo.
So defensive bans are pretty straightforward for the most part. The Thermite ban is a little bit on the weird side of things, as we saw Soniqs taking that one out of the pool. But again, that just limits the hard breach potential, especially for things like basement site takes and whatnot. You'll have to pretty much go immediately over towards Hibana for most of the action you'll be seeing that requires any hard breach on a wall.
The reasoning behind that ban for Thermite is the fact that Habanas take longer to go off.
Yeah.
So they're going to play Kaid probably a lot on defense to try and get down multiple tricks, or they're just going to stick with the Mute Bandit combo, which wastes a lot of EMPs. And not only that, they're going to have to EMP those mutes off initially, and then Super is going to be able to Bandit trick right behind it. Actually, he's going to go away from the Bandit here. Are we going to see the Kaid? No, we're going to see the Legion, so they're going to lean on and Mute downstairs inside of Garage. Very peculiar, actually, as this seems like it might be a walk in the park here for Rise to get that garage door open.
Let's see how things are going to play out as we're headed in game now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get to it. It's going to be our next match on the stream, our featured match for round number 4 of the Swiss stage. Only one round left after this one, folks, so we're coming close to the end. It's the Susquehanna Soniqs against Rise Nation. Rise are on the attack, Soniqs on the defense, and we're going right to the basement to start. Just get the second floor, at least for now.
Yeah, it just really depends on which team, exactly where they want to go initially. It's all in favor of whatever they want to really do. Again, as we see with every map, a lot of the times you'll even see people forego going lobby and going over to Tellers, which is a new site on this map in particular. So, again, it's really just what that team's feeling or who they're playing against. Sometimes you will see, their initial site change up depending on what team they're going against. Just, to play that mental game. Okay, we've played upstairs 6 times in a row every time that we started this map. You know what, let's change it up, let's go downstairs. Maybe we can throw them off on an operator choice.
So downstairs will be the site we play. We've got a mural window in the garage door, actually, which is a little bit more difficult, at least to try and telegraph, since they'll have a free preview as to what's going on outside. Considering it's going to be Hibana as well, might be able to take that out relatively quickly and make it a non-issue.
They are going to get part of the garage open against Dot, and we'll do a little bit of work with those Hibana charges. So, do have kind of an extended setup here. As you guys can see, Neptune's playing on yellow stairs, and we have Super as Legion over here inside of bathroom. So Factor droning upstairs is going to be able to call out that they have a Maestro on the top of yellow. This extended hold, once again, could get them in some trouble, but more than likely it is going to just delay as much time as possible. They do also have Ghost up here, so worst case scenario, this could be a force here by Rise directly onto site.
Got quite a few players from Rise trying to work their way in, possibly through front door in a second. Of course, try to peer into that bathroom just on the left hall. See if an opportunity is going to present itself, picking anyone up. They've got, of course, quite a few drones actually being set over here towards the main bathroom. Try to fish a few players out. Mind you, Super also having to play with a bit of his head on a swivel due to the potential pinch that could happen if players push him from both the main lobby and the yellow stairs. Assuming, of course, that Rise are able to get access to that.
Yeah, with these 2 new pickups for Rise, throwing something at them like this, where communication is going to be extremely prevalent, makes it very hard for them to try and coordinate correctly. So we'll see if they're able to battle through this, but right now there's been such a time waste here by the Soniqs and not an ounce of damage done to them.
The Jackal track going to come out. It's going to find one of the players downstairs. England is going to be the one that's able to strike first, however, in the game for Rise. Knocking out Super in the process. That was the Legion holding on the inside of the bathroom, so they're able to successfully squeeze him out. Now that opens up the possibility for hatch usage on the inside of the bathroom for the rest of the round on Rise's part. Still a few more things to deal with, though, before I think they're going to be able to confidently try and swing their push over towards the basement. And not a whole lot of time to do those, unfortunately. There's only 50 seconds left.
And the Jackal pings continuously plaguing defense right now, and they don't have a smoke. We've seen him play so much today, but not going to have those times today to try and stop any hard rush here. They do have a Nitro Cell in the hands of Ghost, and they still have that all too good Alda in the Neptunes, but something special is going to have to happen here for the defense if things get aggressive by Rise.
Factor looking to line up a position 2. Just going to chuck in. These natural grenades now start to push to the inside. Dot tries to take the plant first off. England actually catches Beastly on a quick little rotate right there. It's going to be able to take him out without too much of an issue. Microsmoke trying to trick these guys too. All of a sudden, Ghost, Neptune picking up these 3 kills. It's just kind of changed the round relatively quickly. Ghost and Avian pick up 2 more, and there you go. It's the Soniqs, actually. That shutout, round number 1. Push themselves ahead early on.
A little bit of a stall there by Rise at the end. They had the initial pick, and England even added to it, making this a 3 versus 5. But finally, Soniqs wake up a little bit, and they go, hey, you know, all of these smokes are down. Might as well get aggressive through them, try our best Stewie 2K impression. That's exactly what they did. Rushed right through that smoke, got all of those frags collected, and it appears that Rise just a little shy to try and rush into that room after they got those picks.
Into the second floor now after our defenders come out successfully from the first round. Change-ups on the operators are going to be pretty non-existent, for the attackers at least anyway. Defenders, of course, are going to switch things up a little bit since we're heading to a different site. Is going to bring the 6-pick Pulse in instead of the Legion that was there in the last round.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of Jackal play here by Acid just due to the fact that console is so big and you can transition floors so quickly with the amount of patches that are on this map. So having Roamer's Jackal tracks makes it so much easier to try and lock them down and get that frag. So more than likely you're going to be seeing a lot of play from Jackal on Acid. Plus, you add smoke utility right behind that tactical crossbow of England. So this time around, if they are going to go for a smoke execute, I hope that they actually go for the smoke execute instead of throwing all of their smokes down and just lying in wait and waiting for yet another pick. You already got those 2 picks, guys. It's time to be aggressive. You're on attack, for God's sakes. Let's get going.
All right, well, let's get going indeed, as we've got Rise Nation just spawning now. So they're going to be funneling out in just a second. We'll see how exactly they're able to fare on an upstairs attack in comparison to what we had down in the basement before. We're going to be looking at probably 1 of 2 routes. Either control over towards the offices first off on the other side of the second floor, or a Yellow Stairs pusher. Kind of combination of both. Could also put some pressure onto Visa, start to work their way up through the stairs there. But it is looking like they're going to see a little bit of action on the windows first off here. Rise are going to try to play around with that before they commit themselves too heavily anywhere else. Of course, the players in the booth too. Going to try to see if they can come out with anything early.
I watched Sonic Scrim Consulate actually yesterday as we were in the venue, just doing our usual prep work, and they like to play extended on this site. I actually saw Beastly quite a bit yesterday, holding down bottom Spiral, just trying to cut off that mid-map rotation that a lot of teams enjoy holding down on offense. But right now it seems like it's going to be a full yellow take here, as they are going to be staring down Neptune's. Plenty of ADSs there, though, as that nade will more than likely be caught. Actually, no, it's actually going to end up going off, as Neptune's has rotated back through Catherine. Dot going to focus his Kairos charges over on the castle barricade to try and open up a line of sight for himself.
These guys have a bunch of punch holes lined up, so Dot's going to have to be a little bit careful about how he proceeds on that. But it's Neptune's getting from the Sonic, striking first this time around, taking out Vandal. You can see the Hibana still trying to look for any method to try and pick up something on the inside here, but it's not going to be found relatively easily. Avian, of course, still watching from the inside of one of the main halls, watching for any pressure towards the windows. He's got his eyes locked. They attempt to rappel down and peek out that window again.
Everyone just waiting for a mistake right now, and Neptune's definitely not going to make one as he peeks into Factor, but Acid will get the immediate refrag. But again, if they play this refrag game right now, they're definitely going to lose it. Susquehanna with the man advantage. Granted, not too far away. If somebody is able to pick up 2 here, very easy to claim that back. But a lot of the anchors still alive here for the defense, and you still have Super with that pulse monitor, able to detect people's heartbeats through walls, where he can relay that information back to his team very easily. But Avian will now go down, and that's the Alda, which we've seen do so much damage today. So 3 versus 3 here as Rise Nation finally finds the equalizer.
Besides that, everything's very quiet now with the 2 kills being traded on either side. Toxic Vape is going to go in first off. Not too much right now. A nice little jump out here from England is going to be able to catch Beastly. And in the meanwhile, is also going to see Ghost fall down. So Susquehanna Sonic is getting so aggressive out of nowhere, it seems. Super left as the last man standing. He gets a very nice C4 placement in to stop the first attempt at planting the diffuser. But now he's going to have to get right up in the face of these players in order to do it again. He's got hard picks though, so he can try to play it with the soft spam. Going to work out too well to try and pick up the first kill. Does get them off the diffuser, lines it up, and I believe he's nearly done it. Acid Gonna be very low now and trying to pull this off, but the time he could just play into that. No, Acid gets it anyway. Rise, steal the round right out of the Soniqs' hands.
Acid fighting for that angle, as you guys will be able to see here in the replay. Well, actually, no, he actually just shot through the wall randomly. The soft wall didn't even have a peg on exactly where Super was. As you guys will see in the replay right here, Super's going to rotate back over to the top of Yellow, tries to do the smart thing, tries to play safe, but he's going to extend just a little bit too far off the wall and gets shot right in his back through the soft wall. Very heads-up play there by Acid.
So great stuff from Acid, just barely saves the attack there, and is going to keep us on even terms for the first 2 rounds. Teams will trade blows 1-1. But of course, with the first round being successful for our defenders, we're going to keep on rolling with the console meeting room sites on the 2nd floor. So our defenders failed to defend it, so they will get to try it one more time. Sixpick again trying to hide the pulse for a 2nd time. They tried to do it with a Legion in the last round, but instead are going to attempt to do it with a Vigil instead this time.
All right, round number 3 on the docket here. We'll be jumping back in with the Soniqs on defense once again. That last round, something special there at the end, but something I will point out is just the amount of patience that Rise has. Even though that they didn't have that initial pick, you know, they still kept the same pace. Slow things down, try and force Soniqs to mess up, and eventually Soniqs got a little bit too greedy and ended up biting them in the end. Granted, Super tried his best to bring that round back. Just unfortunate circumstances there as, I mean, the timing. Pre-fires that wall as soon as Super stands up and moves just a little bit to the side. I mean, when it comes down to that, you really can't argue.
It's a great attempt by Super, to be fair, and all the intel he needed to play that off of, had the right lineup, had the right play, too, with the aggressive move that he made over towards main desk to try and shut all that down, but unfortunately just got a little bit too into the open there towards the end and obviously fell victim to that brutal spray down. The last member from Acid there.
I also love the fact that he was not scared to get aggressive onto the actual site either. He took that gunfight on Yellow and immediately rushed Yellow stairs. He knew that the pre-fire of the bullets from Rise Nation would mask the sound of his feet as he rotated through. Very smart play there by Super to try and bring that round back.
So into another round, we're going to go back into the 2nd floor once again. So Rise will probably take the same opener for the most part. You can already see them trying to get Repel up, trying to play around with the windows a little bit. It's a little bit more conjoined this time, I noticed, from Rise. They got everybody kind of stacked together, so this might be a little bit more of a kind of concise Yellow stairs take for them on this round compared to last round, where they were a little bit more fluid with their movements.
They are hard stuck in their ways on keeping Neptunes on Yellow, but again, Yellow stairs is a place that if you control it on the offense, you're going to have a bad time on the defense. I mean, there's so many angles they can possibly hold down, especially with how Soniqs leave the walls soft over in towards. Oh my gosh, that's not supposed to happen. Neptunes will get traded out though, but I mean, winning that gunfight into Skylight, you don't see that every single day. But as we said earlier, Neptunes is just an absolute fragger for the Soniqs.
Yeah, and even against tougher competition they went up against in their first match, he was still the outlier. He was the one that was able to perform in that game. And really, truly still came out on top for his team there. Taking them on at least more than one occasion.
So a little bit of lack of droning here from Rise Nation as Super is lying cozy inside of bathroom, getting all of that intel for free with that cardiac sensor as Pulse does. So this time soon wavers here. Soniqs seem to have slowed down just a little bit. They got their initial pick onto England, which means no more of those asphyxiating bolts and no more M249 to just spray through every single wall that man can possibly find. So Soniqs, once again, going to try and keep things slow here, make Rise be the aggressor, as you know you do on offense.
This will be great, of course, for the elimination of Capital. This will be great for the Soniqs to try and not have to worry about too much when the execute finally does come in. Besides this, things are remaining relatively quiet across the map right now. Rise not wanting to try anything at the double windows just yet. That's looking like it might be changing soon. We've got Smokes working their way in. Factor picking up the next kill to bring it down to a 4v3. Dot having to try and push the smoke. Vandal, Factor all picking up kills. It's down to Super again, who's going to make that quick rotate for the 2nd round in a row through Yellow Stairs. He still has his Nitro cell as well. He does, attempts to play into it, but not this time. Vandal is going to spot him out, take him down before he can strike, and that's Rise picking up their 2nd on round number 3.
That was 200 IQ there from Rise. They knew that he was Pulse. They knew he was going to rotate down and try and stop the plant. Rotate somebody down the lobby, hold across on Piano, able to pick up that frag so very easily as that man has his cardiac sensor in his hand. So, as I was saying before, Soniqs tried to slow things down, but it appeared that Rise had all the info that they needed to try and force that site, and that's exactly what they did. So a little bit of taste of their own medicine right now for the Susquehanna Soniqs.
All right, well, back to the basement, of course. It's been 2 rounds that we've had the bottom site locked, so they're going to go back downstairs to it now that it has been brought back into the pool. Another 6 pick here for Super. They're actually going to pick away from a Jaeger on basement and get the Kaid instead, which, again, we would kind of expect here, given that hatch play is going to be far more important on the basement.
Well, it's not only that, it's what I was talking about earlier with the fact that they banned out Thermite. That's the entire reason that they banned Thermite. So, again, hard destruction is a big thing on Consulate. There's a lot of angles you can open up with that, but you don't see it too often banned here. Maybe you'll see a Thatcher ban or something along those lines, but not too much on the hard destruction do a lot of teams lean. So when that Thermite ban came through, the only difference between him and Habana is 2 things. One, Habana has range. She doesn't have to walk into the wall. Second thing is, Thermite is faster detonation time than those X-Kairos are of Habana. So banning away Thermite takes that speed factor away from hard destruction. And with those Kaids, or those Electro Claws, which is the name of his utility, he's able to actually throw those down on the wall as soon as he hears the X-Kairos hit the wall, and the X-Kairos goes off later than the Electro Claw. So the Electro Claw is able to get rid of those as soon as he hears that sound on the wall.
Well, again, Rise will make an attempted push towards the basement. Just like before, we've got a stronghold on the inside of the bathroom upstairs here for the Soniqs. It's obviously not going to be the Legion this time that we had in the previous round that was played on basement. It is instead going to be the Bandit that's playing upstairs there. There's a light, same as we would normally expect.
Very peculiar here from Super, as he's actually not going to have the TSG 12-gauge shotgun that you thought was a rifle, because it practically is. So he's going to actually have the AUG in a different format than IQ's, obviously, but that's a name nonetheless. The AUG A3 there for the people at home. And I know that that looks like a suppressor, but it's not. That's actually the compensator for that weapon. It's very, very large. So as you guys see,
I mean,
there we go. Yeah, he's definitely compensating. So gonna get that Electro Claw off the wall, and that's gonna be no more for either team. So I do not believe that they can actually vault through that one hole that Dot does have in the garage. So they only have a line of sight that they're going to be able to hold down and try and cut off people rotating over towards pipes. But as of right now, they're going to have to try and find a different avenue of getting into sight.
Drone's ready.
Unfortunately, it's not going to work out the way they would have hoped, and this is again where the ban also comes back to haunt them, as they don't have that secondary hard bridge to fall back on to get them inside of garage. It's going to continue to delay the play. Thankfully, they've run into this issue relatively early in the round. They still have about half of it left in order to get past it. It's just, are they going to be able to adjust in time and come on top of it? And the Factor's kill certainly made things a little bit easier.
Well, here's the thing. They know that that ban came through. Obviously, they were in ban phase. So wouldn't you want to take over Piano first, get that top control, and make it to where right when he throws out Electro Claw, you just shoot it off the wall? Yeah, it's very strange here from Rise to allow that to happen, especially when it's pretty self-explanatory of what's happening with that Thermite ban, but it appears to not even matter. They don't need the garage to be able to shoot everybody. That's exactly what they're doing right now, shooting fish in a barrel. All of this vertical presence punishing Soniqs right now.
Well, again, we've got Rise Nation right at the edge of the site, but haven't actually pushed in just yet. Not that they necessarily need to, again, as of course you've seen, there's been a few more kills. Brought things down into what in a second was almost going to be a 1v5, but no, it's going to be 2 more kills for the Soniqs. Avian and Ghost picking him up. Dot with one of the last pickups, and finally he gets the final kill as well against Avian, as Rise pick up their 3rd round in a row now. A little bit of a bump on the first one, but they've been rolling strong since then with 3 in a row.
It was almost very dangerous from Rise, as they were all stacked together and he tossed that Nitro. So granted, it probably only would have got one of them because he tossed it towards stairs, but if they tried to rotate over and get the bomb down in the lower part of garage, you could have seen a 3K Nitro cell there. But again, this is what Rainbow Six Siege is all about. It's all about timing. I mean, they were able to find that frag from the top of Orange Pillar, where you can sit on the blue box, try and get a vertical angle right there, or excuse me, just a higher point of angle, which you'll see a lot of players try and do that because it shifts where their head is. They'll try and jump on something to try and shift where they are, and not a lot of people are going to pre-fire the ceiling. So very heads-up plays here from Rise Nation.
We're actually going to see Soniqs just continue to rotate around after being, unable to win their last 2 sites they've tried. They're going to go Tellers, actually, instead of trying to go towards the lobby. It's a little bit more of a potentially an unfamiliar sight to some teams.
Yeah, with the operator lineup that they currently have, they're definitely going to be favoring trying to put these mirrors on different ends of the spectrum. More than likely one upstairs, one downstairs to try and hold over towards garage. Or actually, it appears that they're going to put it down here inside of Tellers, try and help out the man that is going to be playing on site. But besides that point, what you want to look for in Rise here is taking from the west. Traditionally speaking, this map is handled from the east side. a lot of teams will just start upstairs and administration and push across. It's clearing every floor back and forth. It's pretty self-explanatory. But when you are attacking this site, you more or less just flip this on its head, try and get some pressure upstairs. A lot of teams will hold down CEO windows to wait for rotates inside a flag hallway, but it appears that Rise has their own little idea behind it.
We've got the members of the Soniqs once again going to look to do better this time in their hold against Rise. We can see one of the mirror windows going down and potentially upstairs, actually, but I might have saw that, so cancel my statement temporarily. In the meanwhile, quite a few players, again, are going to have to spread out, unfortunately, for the Susquehanna Soniqs side, just due to the nature of how this site is played. It's on 2 separate levels, so you have to leave your main floors downstairs with the ability to rotate if the need arises down that hatch that's close by. They've got the start of the push coming in from Rise now. Capitão actually going to be using some of the asphyxiation balls a little bit early on here, trying to think to smoke players outside of Tellers. Oh, that's an easy walk up for England right there. Right into Beastly's feet. No problem getting that kill. The problem is the trade that comes in from Super. Super picks up the frag, nearly gets traded himself, but he should be revivable on these stairs.
Very, very dangerous if England does get aggressive, but they do still have that castle barricade up, and they don't really have anybody to destroy it right now. They do have Vandal, he does still have frag grenades, but don't really want to waste those explosives on that. So, I'm going to see an initial frag here from England, but Avian able to trade it back, and that seems to be the tail of the tape here so far in round number 5. It's all up to Acid and Vandal to try and find some more footing here. We do have Neptunes all the way upstairs, so still varying even when they're down 2 people. Floor-wise.
They're going to push downstairs, going a little crazy with the zoom in, but he's going to be able to back up. Avoids the loss of his own life, but unfortunately on top of that was not able to get the kill that he wanted. Down to a minute now, but here's the thing, Rise being very heads up with their play. They got plenty of time to go for this execute. Not that, unfortunately, it's going to be of much help to them. That M590 once again showing up today with another multi-frag. This time it's 2 going over to the Susquehanna Sonic side as they pick up their second round here on Tellers.
No one is just putting any respect on that shotgun. Granted, they definitely did not know that that man was inside of supply closet, so you gotta give him that. Ghost playing kind of an off angle there that no one really expected, and that M590 so good in close range. And you gotta give it to Rise on, again, just their patience working out for them. Or excuse me, the Susquehanna Soniqs patience working out for them.
So back around the wheel here again, as we are going to enter the last round of the first half here. The last chance for our defenders, the Soniqs, to try to make impact on this side before they have to go on to the attack. They're going to try basement one more time. This will be the 3rd time they've attempted basement. Only won it once successfully so far. To be fair, it's one of the 2 rounds that they've picked up, so we're going to hope they can rally together, make this a 3rd for themselves before they've got to go on to the attack. And most notably, if they win this one, they can still tie it up. They can still kind of just reset the score a little bit here, beat them in an even position to try to take down Rise on the attacking side.
I'll be very interested to see what they're going to try and adjust here. So far, we are going to have Vigil come out from Super. He's been playing Pulse as well as Legion for most of this match so far. And Ghost will be back on the smoke. He was on the mute that previous round, but basically the same person, except this time he's got Toxic Babe, which, arguably speaking, is the better utility of the 2. I mean, Smoke does not have a counter. The only counter is time and trying to bait his utility. So, if Ghost plays smart enough with this, he can definitely win them the round just off the back of those Toxic Babes. But again, they're not going to bring the Kaid this time around, which it's very interesting to me because they banned Thermite, but then they only bring Kaid one round.
Once. Yeah.
So I don't know why they haven't leaned on that more, especially when it was in your ban phase. And they're only going to be bringing Mute, which is, I mean, so easy for a fact. When you throw 1 EMP, it's done. Dot puts his exit Kairos down, and all of a sudden you have an open garage door. So we'll see what the adjustment is going to do here for the boys on the Susquehanna Soniqs.
Maybe it might not have been as comfortable of a pick as they were hoping it would have been or something like that, or just not fully analyzing the situation. Either way, it seems like they're my fan.
Okay.
Oh, there's that M590 again. Ghost, he's going to be able to take out Rise with it right after Rise had found Neptune about a second before. Vandal also looking to push into the A site quickly here as he's already worked his way down through the service stairs. Acid, however, strikes next instead. They're going to be able to find Beastly.
Got kind of a 2-prong attack going on here as we do have a gentleman on yellow stairs. Susquehanna looking to even things out as they are only down one man currently, keeping things slow. Joan going to find Avian, though, as he's sitting inside of offices. Vandal, as well as his partner in crime, Dot, over inside of the armory lockers, or excuse me, the lockers hallway. We do have Super all the way upstairs, though, still on roam. Still plenty of time, so as expected, he is going to try and just lie in wait and see if he can have a late rotate that could possibly bring something back here for the Soniqs. But what is the possibility here is if they find another frag on site, Super's going to be so far out of position.
See Flash going in to try and find out the mirror. It looks like it's nearly done the job. You got a skeleton key kill presenting itself to you. You're going to take it. Vandal gets that one going for himself. Ghost with a single trade, but it's still heavily favored into the fellas from Rise Nation, as they should be able to walk in and actually just pretty much have a free play on Cafeteria if they want to go for it. But they've got a minute left. I think they're just going to try to go for this kill on Ghost, it looks like.
Yeah, Ghost actually having to do this kind of the backwards way. They set this up in case they try and go for Garage, but he's having to throw those Toxic Babes through that top hole to try and prevent right now. Grenade coming out. Not going to make any contact with Ghost, though. It does still have one Toxic Babe, but the plant's going down. Pre-fire coming through, but it's not going to make any contact here, as Factor's going to be holding the rotate over by Fridge to try and get into Kitchen, and Ghost has plenty of gunfights still to win. Is he going to be able to see the leg? He shoots through, but Dot's going to find his head. It doesn't matter. Rise Nation walking through, up 4-2.
So Rise end up with the advantage coming out of halftime here. It's a more solid of a push ultimately at the end of the day that we were seeing from them on the attack, and especially with that last round being a great example of that, just picking up so many kills so quickly. And Susquehanna just seemed to want to take the fight more times than not, costing them numerous players time after time again. And as a result of that, putting ahead Rise at 4-2 halftime. Now just 3 more rounds needed on the defense to be able to close out the map and, of course, the series, as we are playing only best of ones today.
It just seems like the adjustments so far by the Soniqs have just been lackluster, especially on that last round. I mean, Super was off-site, even with those 2 initial frags, damn near a minute after it happened. I mean, I understand waiting for your rotation, trying to make something big happen, but those guys need you on site. All of Rise was already dedicated to what they wanted to do. They had the man on yellow. They had 2 people sitting over inside of Locker's hallway. They already had set up what they wanted to do. Now, the only person he really had to worry about was a man more than likely holding flank watch. We never got a solid camera angle on him, but more than likely that man was probably sitting on the bottom spiral, just waiting for Super to rotate down. But either way, Rise Nation coming out on top. We'll see if Soniqs has a little bit more sauce here on the offense.
Find out about that now. Rise, the meanwhile, of course, going to be working their way right upstairs to start a little bit of a change-up from what the Soniqs wanted to do, where they played into basement first instead, so we'll be going a little bit of a different order this time. Rise, as we see from them, obviously a strong start, seems to have the superior capability to take fights right now, but that was on the attack. Things could be very different for them on the defense. We'll see how that change-up ends up affecting Susquehanna Soniqs play too. So they're going to go for, appears to be just admin control first off, with at least 3 of their players making that pick right now.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of games where one team is pretty dominant on either offense or defense. They switch sides and the other team is able to run it back. So we're going to have to see if Soniqs, oh my goodness gracious, Ghost, your Q and E just going back and forth. Probably going to break those keys right there. Might need a new keyboard after this. But yeah, exactly. But plenty of info game right now for Rise Nation, as they have England as well as Acid, both on info ops. Pulse for England and the Maestro for Acid. So we'll see if they're able to try and orchestrate things here for Rise Nation, as the Susquehanna Soniqs are starting things off, as you do traditionally on this map, over here on Administration Office.
So the walls open up, that'll give them access over towards the Visa stairs. They'll be able to try and work their way up through there too. Like I said before, there's quite a few players around the admin windows themselves. There's probably going to be quite a few players also trying to work their way through Visa and the stairs that follow that. And ultimately breaking through the wall just gives them a little bit more vision deeper into, very close to the actual site. Hopefully allow the push from the Soniqs to be a little bit easier. Down to a minute and a half, and there's not a whole lot going on across the map right now. Susquehanna Soniqs have started to push slowly, but haven't really made a decent impact. As far as we can see from the spectator view, you don't really have a whole lot of intel to play off yet either. It's a big question right now is how is this going to lead into them execute? And I haven't exactly seen how that's going to happen yet. It seems to be making a clearer picture now.
You know, Soniqs are going to continue to have trouble with information. They might want to try and pick up someone like Dokkaebi to help them out. And Jackal's still on the board as well, so they can try and pick him up as well for lacking any drone play, but for the information game, it appears that Rise has it. I mean, Acid on those bulletproof Evil Eyes, as you guys saw, and we have England downstairs in the circular desk and lobby, constantly on that cardiac sensor, trying to relay information to the boys upstairs. Spectre will find the initial kill. Neptune's trying to go for the plant, but eventually wavers off as he recognizes out that England is downstairs. Factor continues to attack on his Avian. Will fall next.
Factor's going to sit nice and comfy in some toxic gas. Acid, meanwhile, will be able to pick up another player from the back with the Alda. Beastly, yes, he gets a trade. Actually gets two. Factor and England taking him out. He loses another teammate with Ghost going down, and the problem is 20 seconds. He's got to crawl through this barbed wire, making all kinds of noise. ADS sitting his way. Acid takes that fight, actually, giving it to him. Still 2 players left, thankfully, so it's not too big of a deal yet, but no one else should really be taking those fights. Beastly knows he does some good damage, brings one low. Thought he saw the foot, but apparently not. Dot is going to finish him off with another M590 frag, and Rise take the first round on defense.
There in that last little engagement, I don't really know why he sprinted to the door. I understand he's trying to get away from the angle of the guy sitting inside of console office, but you know the guy's laying down on the ground, you know that more than likely he has a shotgun, especially with the 2 remaining defenders. I don't know, man. The thing for me right now is that Soniqs is very, very slow on offense, and it's not for the lack of, you know, they're gaining information. They're really not doing anything. They're just holding angles and waiting for someone to mess up. And Rise's information game is keeping them alive.
It seems like they're kind of waiting for their opponents to make a mistake, or they're waiting for them to try and get a little bit more aggressive. And this is something that I think I've seen a lot of teams do when they're like, again, they're starting to let slow ramp up into pro play, because they're used to less experienced teams that are willing to try more aggressive stuff on defense or take a risk that really, you know, arguably they shouldn't be taking. So I think they're still trying to wait and hoping that Rise will go into that type of a play style. But we've been given no reason to believe that that will happen. Rise are still playing a very careful, very formulaic approach to both their defense and attack. So it needs to be Soniqs to make the first move here. It needs to be Soniqs that are taking the initiative and starting the execute on the run. Otherwise, this is going to be a quick 2-round run for Rise for 7.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. If you're on offense, play offense. Yeah. You guys aren't the
sounds pretty straightforward, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's kind of in the name. You kind of want to be the one on the offensive, and they just aren't doing that. They're more or less just setting up their angles to try and hold down crosses in between sites, but it's just not working out for them. I mean, they haven't gained anything, and that's mainly due to the fact of how much information Rise has off cuff. I mean, previously Acid, now in the hands of Vandal in England. Both on those info ops, as we previously stated, but with how well they're playing those, and they're not getting aggressive, that's the other thing. So all of this time wasted, Soniqs just sitting there, lying in wait, not really droning out too heavily, it's really punishing them.
Well, let's see. Once again, we've got our players from the Soniqs out onto the board, and we've gone towards a lobby take now here. And the guys in the Soniqs will have to try and work themselves towards Rise. Continuing to roll around the map, but not going directly for basement, as you generally see a team do. Instead, taking the middle road approach. I think hoping to see that they can pick up another round and lock another site away off the momentum, and then actually close this map out on basement. They'll have a little bit of an easier time formulating the strat.
Pulse is so good here on this map. He can actually see through all 3 floors with that cardiac sensor. Just enough distance to be able to relay all of that info back to your team once again, and he can be the difference maker here. Is again, you basically have a constant ping that you just have to relay back to your teammates, and they're able to shape their gameplay around it. And it appears that Soniqs is going to go down the exact same route once again. Super switched over to Thatcher instead of more of an entry frag role, as we are going to see Neptunes as well as Ghost try and don that mantle. As you guys saw them rotating through administration office, but again, things very slow for them initially. And we don't see too much drone play. You don't see a drone in front of Neptunes. You see no drones moving their way through the top floor. That's what you want to see. You want to see them try and get info for Neptunes. You don't want your entry fragger going in blind, and that's exactly what's happening right now.
So again, down to about 1 minute and 15 seconds left. Rise still sitting confidently near or around the site. Soniqs still trying to establish that presence. Looking like they're going to end up falling kind of into the default here with the way that they've got their players lined up right now, where they'll attempt to push in through lobby itself. I don't know how well they've cleared upstairs, though, where things could become a problem for them. The rotate is appropriate. Also, the side halls, too, over towards Piano. There's a nice snipe coming in from Avian. Able to take out Vandal, and that's a pretty important position player. I believe that was the bathroom or the piano player that goes out.
It is going to be the piano players. You saw his dead body laying over on the door of Piano, but Neptune's going to be able to find one as well. As Factor will finally get a refrag here as Super will go down, so no more Thatcher. But not really going to matter now since Vandal is dead. Not going to be able to play any prevent with those Evil Eyes. So still have the information basis if they are set up correctly, but as of right now, it's going to be a full-on take here as Acid's going to try and play against it. It appears his mouse might be bugging out just a little bit. He's going to end up getting taken down by Beastly, but Ghost actually going to pick himself up. That's only going to give him 5 health, and he can't go down once again. They got to try and get this diffuser down. Neptune's with the flick, but he's only going to be able to find 1 as Avian will be able to secure that round after 2 frags on a dot. Well, is another one of the players which would be Factor from Rise Nation. So, finally, on their offensive side, they're able to find some footing.
So obviously stretching it for time once again a little bit here, but ultimately getting the job done. A much smoother round overall from the Soniqs, especially when you consider those well, somewhat early frags they were able to take out with pretty much no response coming in from Rise at all on that. So a good job. This is what the slow play I think was hopefully going to lead up to in the first round they played on defense, but never, or first round they played on attack, excuse me, that never really ended up leading to anything, and they just had a pretty lackluster attack and what was essentially a 5v5. This time, they find those 2 snipes where they just kind of knock players out without much room for a response, and the push in through lobby goes much, much cleaner, especially as you consider they don't have to deal with that piano player.
This is really where it's going to matter, though, on how fast Soniqs is able to handle things and get information back to themselves. If you stall out on basement, it is such a hard site to try and take at the very last second, because you really only have staircases and the hatch if they're not able to get over this wall. So I will say the weird thing again is that, again, Rise, former pro team, they understand why Thermite was banned. I know that for a fact. There's no way that they don't. Why wouldn't you just adopt the strategy that they were using and use it against them with Kaid, especially when you're going to have Factor on Bandit? I mean, Smoke's good. Obviously, Mira's are very, very good downstairs, which, again, this is one of Mira's actually worst maps. She's good on any single site in the game. You can find a use for her, but of all the maps that are currently in rotation, this is probably Mira's worst map, arguably, always. So, you could switch her out, pick up another 3 armor that has a shotgun that can kill anybody in 2 shots, and you have those Electro Claws to try and mess with the offense. But I will say one thing, it'd be even easier. They don't even have a Thatcher on the offense right now.
That's certainly going to make things a lot easier overall for our attacking players. I do want to note that they got a very, very good push drone in position right in the garage itself underneath pipes, so I feel like that could do a lot of damage to the setups they have, especially getting to the wall in the breach denial that they're going to have set up in this basement here. That drone hasn't moved out just yet. You can actually see it from Mira's point of view right there, right underneath the pipes. So they're still going to try and use that. They're obviously going to be very careful. Oh, no, he moved it. That was the key thing. Gives it away to the Mira, and the shield will quickly shoot it, knock it out.
It's a very peculiar shield, as we're going to see it actually poised up on top of the box next to the yellow rails that sit in front of pipes.
It's like a pop-up shield, I think, right?
Yeah, it's one of the deployable shields. What they're doing with that right there is there's an angle you can establish on the garage so you can kill the man that crosses over pipes. So they put that up on top of the box in order to make it where the man can safely cross over the pipes or vice versa.
I think a Mira position too, which can kind of play into that a little bit too with the quick little swipe. She's also got the ability to kind of, I think, break some of the soft wall above her and just do a quick little peek up if she wants to play off that mirror or that mirror as well. We'll see how this all comes down in the execute, because Soniqs have kind of lined up more general takes, but have switched it at the last second, at least in one of these rounds so far. So we'll see if they end up doing it again. You can see the smoke coming through. They are going to breach into the garage now. There won't be any resistance on that. They were successfully able to deal with the reinforcements that were thrown down here. Now it's about working their way in. This has been the struggle before, is their ability to actually engage on the execute. That was where they fell short on round 1. Thankfully brought it back on round 2 due to their ability to snipe at a few players. Let's see, Neptune's is going to take out the deployable shield sitting on top. The crates, the first one out. Throw a second one in there following it up too, but that one's probably not going to catch much.
No, it will not. They also have another mirror that's dedicated into the hallway next to that office that you traditionally see mirrors set up. It's on the single panel wall that's right next to pipes. So you guys are more than likely going to see it. It's right under that camera, right where Vandal's playing right now. And actually, I'm going to change up what I said earlier. I believe that's the reason they put that deployable shield there. To not only save the man that's rotating from pipes, but you can still get a pretty tight angle over the man rotating, but it's also going to make that mirror play a lot safer.
I think it gave Mira a sort of a like lean out play with the shield.
Exactly.
That's why it was put there. And well, if that shield was there, that probably wouldn't have happened. So now the plant's going to end up going down. We've got the Soniqs actually dominating this take. Man. I think that's a perfect round from them. Beautiful stuff. No problems at all in the basement. And with that round, they're pretty much right back into it now. So we're going to be 5-4.
Rise Nation throwing some weird stuff into the mix, as we really haven't seen a Mira setup like that before on the basement. But this time around, not going to work out for him, as Soniqs is kind of playing into exactly what strat was set up here by Rise, nading off that deployable shield and making it where Rise could not play that mirror safely any longer. And as you said, right when we were talking about it, ends up seeing Vandal get shot off of that soft mirror that they had set up in the hallway, which, again, very smart play here from Soniqs, using some of their utility to try and break down exactly what Rise is doing.
So you're going to see Rise take a pause here. It looks like try and break things down. We've already seen their coach going in for a little bit of discussion with the guys. As this is clearly a pattern that's starting to evolve, where they're making mistakes here on their defense, and they need to patch this up relatively quickly. One more round, and we're going to be tied up 5-5 here with the guys in the Susquehanna Soniqs running a nice comeback.
But as we always like to say, this is also a conversation piece for the Soniqs, as they're able to talk to each other as well throughout this. They don't have a coach just yet, but traditionally speaking, Super will try and make an adjustment here in these tactical timeouts. So Rise going to grant them a little bit of talking time as well, as we'll be getting back into things shortly. The next defensive site is going to be console office for you guys at home that you can't see that just yet. So the current lineups: Bandit, Maestro, Jaeger, Pulse, and Smoke for the defense. So more than likely you're going to see England downstairs in the circle desk, as well as Acid back upstairs placing those evil eyes, trying to get as much info as possible. But let's see how the Soniqs trying to handle England being downstairs again, because they know that he was downstairs the last time. I want to see if they try and execute that early on to try and get him out of that circle desk in lobby.
Focus on that as the round gets started, but as usual, with the wrap being completed and sites being unlocked after the first 2 rounds have gone by, Rise is going to be able to redeploy upstairs into the second floor. Attempt to push themselves ahead one more time with the site able to close out nicely.
Still very interested about that last round, how they had the Bandit. The offense had no Thatcher, but they were still so easy to get the garage door open. No real contention. I mean, why would you bring Bandit then, besides the Nitro Cell, really? I mean, the MP7's a great gun, but again, there's a lot of other things you could have possibly brought in that scenario that really would have helped you out. I mean, again, if you brought the Kite there, whole different round.
Kite in general has been something that I think has been missing from the defensive side on Basement, just not wanting to play into the utility it would provide with the elimination of one of the hard breachers from the ban phase that we had at the beginning of the map. So regardless, we're done with Basement. Now we might go back to it one more time before the actual regulation time closes out on us here, but we'll see how exactly the rounds play out here for Rise. They're the ones in the driver's seat right now for the sites. Once again, we're back upstairs. So you've already got presence coming in for the Susquehanna Soniqs. They're just checking out Basement right now, as they're probably going to throw a little bit of pressure at Yellow Stairs early on. That's definitely been a favorite of theirs. Also, while still deploying action towards the admin tank, too.
A lot better drone play here by the Soniqs. Again, that's something very hard to catch, just due to the fact that we don't routinely get people on their drones and more or less switch off of them or try to avoid them at all costs. So it's always hard trying to see just how well they're playing their information game. Right now, Soniqs seems that they have ramped things up. Not only are they still taking routinely just about the same time, but it seems that they are getting these initial peaks. They knew England was going to be downstairs. Neptune finds him, but Factor with the immediate refrag as he's trying to put in as much work as possible on this Bandit.
So you had mentioned it. We were going to try to pay attention if England was going to be dealt with early on, and he is literally the first man down in the server. So trying to focus on that issue before it even becomes a problem. The elimination of him, fortunately, it is going to cost the Soniqs their buck. So no reconstruction being done by him, and they also lose those nades if they weren't already used.
Even with that, I will still say that Soniqs comes out on top in that. I mean, information is priceless in this game, especially when you have a pulse literally in the center of the map, just being able to see
pretty much everything.
Yeah, max distance on each side of the map. It goes, okay, this guy's over in Tellers, this guy's here, so on and so forth. And again, you took the Maestro that wasn't the Maestro out of Rise Nation.
That hopefully giving the Soniqs a little bit more freedom of movement to work their way into these upstairs sites. Again, though, time is going to be a potential issue for them. They are already starting to line up their execute, so I'll take back what I've said, as they're well aware of this problem and are looking to fix it. Vandal trying to spray into Yellow Stairs. Gives away his current position. He's going to be incredibly exposed. He's going to be stunned out as well. They've got vision on his feet, so down he goes. Ghost is the one to claim the frag, and now Susquehanna Soniqs will shoot ahead 4v3.
I will say one thing, though. The Soniqs are not afraid to just continue to play their own game and beat down the opponent. That's exactly what's happening right now. For Rise Nation, they're going to have to try and lean on their anchors. Try and force this round. They do still have Factor, is able to rotate around as that 3-speed. He is going to be able to find a victim downstairs. It's going to be Super, unlikely not suspecting someone to be on Spiral Staircase right now, but it will find him a kill. Ghost finds one, but immediately refragged here by Factor. They're going to start to swing the windows. Is it a Diffuser going to start to go down? Yes, it will. Beastly. As well as Avian on the windows, but it's going to be all left up to Beastly. And Acid with that. Aldo will find 2 headshots. Continue the reign of Rise Nation here as they find round number 6.
All right, so upstairs seems to be the kind of salvation for Rise here. It's pushed them up onto map point after it also allowed them to push ahead of the 5 at the beginning of this half. So one more is all they need to close it down. That is going to be the difficult part, because they failed to find most of the sites beyond that.
The real question is, what site do you go to for Rise Nation? I mean, lobby, they had a pretty good defense, but basement, they got absolutely obliterated. A perfect round there for Soniqs. So the real question is, where do they go? And right now, they're locked into lobby, and it's going to be sealed, signed, and delivered. So lobby will be the choice here. And again, we're going to have a shift from Acid playing on Maestro to Vandal playing on Maestro. England still on that pulse.
Lobby, they did a really good job, I think, of denying, just denying any of that early presence early on. The problem was it seems like they gave away. We didn't get to see those kills on stream happen, so I don't know how exactly that transpired, but they lost their piano player in the form of the Maestro early on, and the second player also went down, I think, close to like the yellow stairs. So they ended up, 3v5 trying to defend that, and it was a pretty quick follow-up from the Soniqs after those 2 kills were gained that they jumped in. So it seemed like Rise just didn't really have the ability to adjust because everything happened so quick.
Just from the body placement of where Maestro's body was, I'm going to assume he got shot from the piano window, because that would just make sense for the ragdoll effect. Either he was running across the window and got fragged, or he tried to peek it and ended up getting picked off. But if that's the case, that he got picked off, he needs to slow down, because Maestro is that character that you want alive in those dying seconds, because not only is that Aldo powerful, I mean, we've harped on that all day, but those Evil Eyes can come in so clutch if it's going to be a smoke plant.
All right, well, let's see if the Soniqs are going to be able to keep themselves in this. They can pull off another round on lobby, or if Rise has finally found some consistency to make up for the issues that happened in Piano Room along with their second player back in the last time they played in the lobby, and close this out 7-4 in their favor, pushing Rise forward and knocking the Soniqs out.
Yeah, Soniqs not in the best place right now. They need to win this game. Rise Nation in the same boat as well. As we have talked about this, the Swiss format all day and how people with the same records play against each other. So this is more or less do or die right now for these two coming into this game. So we'll see who will come out on top. As of right now, it's going to be Rise Nation. You guys saw that initial pick onto Avian, so no more Capitao. Such a powerful operator now, especially after his buff onto his tactical crossbow. As well as the M249, getting that scope from Gridlock. She hasn't played just yet, but she's very, very close. You guys will see her for Season 10, but they're not yet deployed here for this land.
Let's see here. We've got players again from the Soniqs taking a very slow route to things. We're pretty much the same timer point we were sat at the last time we were on this before they really started having to look for these kills and kind of force themselves in to try and make some plays happen. You can see again, England has been on that pulse the entire half so far. Getting a lot of intel.
You know, it really makes you wonder why you haven't seen the adjustment to IQ, and he's trying to get him through the drone hole. Does he down him? No, England actually going to end up fighting back, shoots back through the drone hole. What a man, as he's just trying to pre-fire the drone hole.
Let's try it again.
Oh my goodness, he's like, come on, come at me.
Peek it again. I dare you.
Oh my goodness gracious. But the dangerous thing about England being downstairs is traditionally how this site is held down. She played Nitro Cells downstairs, because if you pop the hatches, you can actually stop the plant just by tossing a Nitro Cell through the hatch at the right angle, being able to blow up the default plant spot. So that is why England has dedicated himself downstairs, and the pulse monitor making it all the better.
Less than a minute now. All we've seen so far is the elimination of the Capitao. They can't burn anyone out of position anymore. They don't have that easy frag against the Piano Room player they might have had the last time we played onto this site. On top of that, you can see they're really struggling for it. Not any noise going on across the map right now. The Soniqs just stopped completely. Evil Eyes blocking any attempt at a plant. I don't know if they have an easy capability to deal with this. Twitch is alive, but she's otherwise preoccupied right now, so she's not going to be able to jump onto a drone to easily deal with that. Now they should be able to try and at least somewhat deal with them with Zofia. Besides that, 20 seconds. Where's the movement? Where's the push? Finally it shows up. Ghost and Super. Somehow they're making this happen again. Ghost and Super work their way in. 2 quick pickups from them. The response coming in from Acid, but the plant also going down for Beastly. Inside of lobby right now. Factor shutting down one. Super able to trade back, but no, the plan is stopped. They don't have time to get back onto it, and that's going to be Rise Nation taking the round, shutting out the map 7-4, pushing them forward, and unfortunately, knocking the Soniqs out of the tournament.
Well, we saw it before happen with that late of an execute, but it's not going to happen this time around as Rise stay cool, calm, and collected, and just let the time expire here on the Susquehanna Soniqs. They tried their damnedest, but did not seem to come to fruition in the end. Again, we have people still holding crosses at 30 seconds, which necessarily isn't a bad thing. You're trying to cut off those rotates upstairs from them, trying to get assistance to their operators downstairs. But when you go for that initial take and everyone has already excavated the site, completely left, all the way to the back hall, you get that initial frag, but end up getting traded immediately. And all you have is Super upstairs. He's got to rotate down, try and make something happen. Your planner already goes down, and that's where you really can't come back from. That's where things get very dangerous because you don't have a play after that. You only have 6 seconds left on the clock. You're one man, and the guy that was just putting the bomb down just got killed.
It's essentially forcing you into an all-or-nothing playstyle, and it seems like that's the way that the Soniqs kind of had to play on their attack for every single round. And to be fair, it did work out a fair amount of time, so it wasn't necessarily a terrible thing for them to rely on it, but in general, it's a very dangerous type of playstyle as it does put you in the mentality of we either make this execute happen or we lose the round, whereas a lot of other teams will try to at least throw their aggression early on, even if it's not the full team, and 1 or 2 people do that, and as a result of that, have more capability, have more time potentially to make mistakes. Susquehanna Soniqs didn't give themselves that luxury, and as a result, had pretty much all their attacking rounds be an all-or-nothing occasion.
I can completely agree with you on that, but I will say one thing. Rise knows the information game, baby, let me tell you. That pulse work by England was so beautiful. Almost got his head ripped off downstairs, though. That was almost a haunted house for him. Oh, my goodness, very scary, but able to live through it nonetheless and even re-challenge that drone hole. It's like, you are a madman. But either way, able to stay alive,